a really great Moroccan rabbi in his time from Meknes. His name was Harav Maimon ben Attar, Zecher Tzadik Libracha. Now, according to one opinion, he was born in the English year 1866. According to another opinion, it was the 20th of July in 1867. It reported over he passed away on the 19th of January in the year 1958. So he was approximately around 90 years of age, just over 90 years of age at the time of passing, using those figures. He will be a great educator, a Chazan, a Shlich Tzibur, leading the congregation in tefillot, in prayers in of itself. He'll become the rabbi of the Jewish congregation in Alexandria in Egypt, and will be part of the Chaver Bet Din over in various different places. That's part of the Jewish court in of itself, respectively. Really, really great rabbi. He was actually born, reported over on Yud Zayin Tammuz in the Hebrew year, Hey Tafresh Chaf Zayin, become really great rabbi in of itself. Now, he was born in an area in Morocco called Meknes. Meknes had a very, very great Jewish community in of its yesteryear. His mother's name was Rabbanit Mas'uda, and his father was a great rabbi, Rabbi Yosef. Really great. And naturally, Meknes at that point in time had a great Talmud Torah, great yeshiva academy in of itself. And I believe he would learn under the auspices of Rabbi Shlomo Toledano. I think it was part of the yeshiva of the famous, wise, great rabbi, Rabbi Shlomo ben Amara, very, very great rabbi in of himself. Then come on the year 1884, he would be towards the latter years of his teenagers, around 18, 19, respectively, approximately that kind of age in of itself. He would actually go with his family to the land of Israel. And very interesting enough, there was many people making aliyah at that point in time, in late 1800s especially, and early 1900s, which has been widely reported about and documented about in various different videos that we have covered over the span, the breadth of the 2.5 years we have been talking about. It's interesting. I think there were some hardships in Israel, and after that period, Rabbi Maimon Attar and his family would eventually move now to Alexandria in Egypt and settle there. So seemingly there was, because of the difficulties, possibly there was difficulties financially over there, I would suggest. And over there, it's actually interesting, in Alexandria himself, Rabbi Maimon ben Attar and his brother, Rabbi Yaakov ben Attar, opened a Talmud Torah, an educational, let's just say, a Torah school for the children of the city in Egypt. And very interesting, many of the people would actually study in this, let's say, Torah academy in of itself over there, where really, really strengthening the congregation over there, learning together. They would obviously learn in, I believe, the Arabic language, and they would be able to learn, I think, other languages also, while learning high level of Torah study, respectively. Then I think come with the year 1891, at this stage in time, he would be approximately about 25 years of age, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. He will start learning, teaching, and educating even at a more higher level inside the schools over there in that specific territory, teaching religious subjects at the community school. And it's interesting, he had a beautiful voice that was brought over, and he had fantastic interaction with people. So he began serving, I think, shortly afterwards, as, let's say, a rabbi of the great synagogue over there. Was very charismatic. He'll be the cantor, I believe, over there, also leading the services. And eventually, this would lead to a prominent position of becoming the judge, part of the Bet Din, in the year 1925. So from 1907, he was starting to work as a rabbi of the great synagogue. And come 1925, he was appointed, I believe, part of the Bet Din Tzedek of that city in of itself. He would establish the Chevrat organization called Gimlot Chasadim. This is acts of kindness. He worried about, let's say, the needs of all the community in general inside the population over there, especially, I think, if God forbid someone lost a family member and they were sitting shiva, he would help them with regards to Avelot, with regards to the din of Avelot. Rav Maimon ben Attar would also establish more. Another great organization was Bikur Cholim. He was worried about and wanted to bring about all the needs necessary if anyone, God forbid, was sick and needed help at that point in time. And he was worrying about let's just say, the community within regards to what Tashmishei Kedusha has the community got within regards to, for example, Tefillin, Mezuzot, all the different religious articles, religious items that is needed inside the house. So he would take, for example, care of the holy items and bring it from Israel, I believe, and teach boys for the bar mitzvah. And he would help and promote within regards to giving charity, especially to the poor and needy, and make sure that this education was imbued among the population in of itself. Now, come with the year 1954, he would return a second time to the land of Israel. And I think in 1957, Chavzain Tebet, I think he passed away, and he passed away in the year 1957. As we said from the outset, he was approximately around 90 years of age. I believe he was buried, if I'm not mistaken, in the Sha'ar Menashe. It was reported over. This was in the Sha'ar Menashe, and he left over great Torah books in of itself. I think some of them were unprinted manuscripts. Initially, there was commentaries on the Torah, and after his death, I think he has a famous grandson who happens to be a great rabbi. He would actually print the books. Rabbi Moshe Avidan, the great rabbi we've spoken about on various occasions before. I think the teachings inside this book was writings of the 5 books of Moses, the Chamishei Chumshei Torah in of itself. And it's interesting. I think the book is called the Tamei HaMikra. It was a really great book of its day. And I would actually recommend everyone to actually learn about it. And was a Perushim on this. I think Derech or the Pardes in of itself. Rabbi Moshe Abidan he would author this great Torah, colossal work. And he was among his rabbis was Rabbi Shlomo Tzaldana, Rabbi Shlomo ben Amara. Obviously famous book he had in of itself. It was a great Torah education from Meknes, and really, really decorated lifestyle in of itself. Yes, so we can add on more. I think he was well traveled all throughout his time while he was working in the rabbinate, especially he would travel on periods to Gibraltar. It was reported of, especially during the earlier parts of his life. And he was gifted with, his voice was like a very, very, was able to, let's just say in of itself, really bring a panache within regards to the Arab people listening to him. Arab descended people to him were really inspired, and it was reported over between 1907 and 1954, that's 47 years, he would work as a Chazan of the great synagogue called the Eliyahu Hanavi in Alexandria. Very, very prominent position. And to be precise, the exact date, I think when he made Aliyah was the 6th of December in the year 1954, just over 6 years after the formation of the Medinat Yisrael. And the Sha'ar Menashe would be the place where he would be buried. I think it's next to Pardes Chana, if I'm not mistaken. This specific place in of itself is a very, very great rabbi of his time. And much, much more can be said within regards to him. He took care of the community's affairs, as I just want to mention again, within regards to writing the halachic books. He gave a lot of Torah lessons. He arranged a chupot and kiddushin within regards to weddings in of itself, helped supply talitot, tzitziyot. I believe it was reported over every Thursday he would hand out vouchers with his signatures to people that will need will be less well off, these families, so they can afford groceries for Shabbat. Reported over once a month he would go between various different shops and pay off the voucher debts in of itself. It's reported over also every Friday he would proofread the Torah scrolls in the synagogues in the city. He's made sure that the people, the congregations of the city will actually be reading the Torah. And he was respected not just from the Jewish community over there, but also by the Arab community. Many people come to him for advice, especially Egyptians in of itself. And he had great respect from the Egyptian authorities. It's reported over, I think one time he was hospitalized due to an illness, and he spent some time in the government hospital in Alexandria. And it's reported over that the president of Egypt at the time, Mohammed Naguib, came actually to visit him. He was that's how great he actually was in of itself. He was a phenomenal supporter of the renewal of the Hebrew language. And reported over he had correspondence with Eliezer ben Yehuda. Interesting enough. And I think this in of itself, this meeting would actually be recognized and published in a newspaper. If I'm not mistaken, it's quoted over Very interestingly enough, that might have been in the year 1910, but I would double check that in of itself. So please don't forget to light candles in the great Rabbi's memory. Rabbi Maimon ben Attar, one of the great rabbis from Morocco, and spent a huge amount of time in Egypt, really powering, let's just say, Egyptian Jewry in of itself. So be well, everyone. Take care, and blessings from Israel.